Qatar, the pearl of the Middle East and one of the richest countries in the world, is open for cultural exchange. Can its ancient traditions and modern aspirations accommodate you? Qatar presents as a perfect blend of modern luxury and rich heritage. But there is a dark side.
There are two sides to every coin. This is the other side of Qatar.
I felt like I had been
Slavery.
1952.
There is something wrong about this country and how it treats women.
The Guardian exposed serious labour rights abuses here in Qatar, including the deaths of hundreds of migrant workers.
Today, we explore, consume, and uncover everything you need to know before traveling through Qatar.
As we attempt to enjoy the city with our limited time frame, there's 5 things that we really hope to do. Find a Qatari patch. We collect patches all over the world, so we want to find one for this country. Challenge number 2 is eat something local. Challenge 3, drink something local. Challenge number 4 is try to get a selfie with a camel. And challenge number 5 is to fist bump a local.
We're also serving up the raw and uncut truth about this authoritarian state to let you know if it's safe for you to travel through.
Qatar is the wealthiest nation in the Middle East and top 5 richest globally, thanks to its discovery and exploitation of liquid natural gas. This small but mighty nation boasts control over more than 15% of the world's gas reserves. 70% of the government's revenue comes from oil and gas exports. Yet gas isn't their sole symbol of prosperity. Another one is the falcon.
We're headed to the Falcon Soup to check out one of the biggest icons in the Middle East. Falcons are birds of prey, the fastest animal on earth, have been helping the men of the desert secure their dinner for thousands of years. They've been symbiotic with Qatari culture since 3000 BC.
These things are heavy. I can't believe I got a chance to hold and pet one, although I don't think he really liked it.
How much does this falcon? 45,000 Qatari.
The falcon has its own hospital, schools, diets. You may even say that the falcon is treated much better than the migrant workers in Qatar.
Things you need to know about Qatar before you get here.
Let's start with some cultural aspects of Qatar's legal system. It's a mix of both civil law and Sharia law. For example, any sex outside of marriage is against the law of the land and punishable by up to 3 years of imprisonment. One can receive from 1 to 3 years for instigating or seducing a male to commit adultery. Adulterers can receive 100 lashes or up to 3 years in prison. Women under the age of 25 can be committed to a mental hospital for attempting to live independently against their parents' will. All homosexual activity is criminal behavior in Qatar, punishable by up to 10 years of imprisonment or even death. Sharia-based courts judge a woman's testimony to be half of that of a man. It is advised that foreigners avoid public displays of affection. Public intoxication is also a crime. Alcohol is only sold in 2 licensed stores in the city and at select hotels.
Sleeveless is not an option. Generally, they don't bother tourists too much, but it's preferred that you have sleeves, at least some kind of short sleeves, and don't wear shorts. It's frowned upon, but national currency is the Qatari. Right now, it's about 3 to 1 US dollar. Most places have tons of AC. It's super safe. Our tour has been jumping in and out of a running car that stays running the entire time. We do our little circuit around whatever areas that we go to, and nobody jumps in his car and pulls off. The national air carrier is Qatar, but they've served you decent on the flight, but honestly, I think that Emirates got them beat. They do the same thing, but Emirates does it with a smile. The national bird is a falcon. Uber is accessible, but not at the airport. There's a subway system here that runs fluently and is nice and cool and crisp underground when you go there.
The subway system was really easy to use. It was quite simple to get a ticket. A single fare cost 55 cents and a day pass was $1.65. Filming was also a bit of a covert mission because Qatar has very strict recording laws. And it's absolutely the most modern and cleanest metro we've ever been on.
the train approaching this floor.
Over the course of our time here, we've met and talked with many people from different places who are foreigners here. And here's a stat for you. 88% of the people living in Qatar are foreigners. And it's like that for a reason: slavery. Qatar heavily participated in the East African slave trade via Zanzibar, up until the point when they abolished slavery in 1952.
Before discovering their rich oil and gas deposits, Qatar was a fisherman town, primarily earning their living from the ocean, mining for pearls. Apart from the pearls themselves, slavery was the most integral part of the pearl diving industry and was a crucial part of Qatar's economy before the discovery of oil. Enslaved people, primarily kidnapped from East Africa, were used as divers and laborers, enduring harsh and deadly conditions for the benefit of the local elite. The institution of slavery established and reinforced rigid social hierarchies. A class of wealthy, slave-owning families emerged, distinguishing themselves from enslaved and lower-class individuals. These hierarchies are the ruling families of Qatar. Qatari society, culture, and wealth are predicated on slave labor.
And while they abolished it less than 100 years ago, it was replaced with a different system.
In Qatar and throughout the Middle East, the rights of migrant workers are undermined by a package of labor laws known as
the kafala system, which pretty much imported people in from all of these different places, took their passports, and they had to pay for their own way to get here. They had to pay the people back who brought them here, except they would never be able to fully pay them back. It was a system of oppression. And of course, the same people who were enslaved are the same people who are at the bottom of the barrel today. This system only came to an end as they prepared for the World Cup, and the world had a microscope on this place, so we got to see exactly what was going on. And there were some horror stories.
Workers here gathering in front of their employer's headquarters because they haven't been paid in 7 months.
Now, a BBC investigation's uncovered evidence that migrants working on infrastructure projects have died.
Her husband went to Qatar in 2018 and never came home. Gangram Mandal died in his sleep after a work shift in the searing summer heat in July 2020.
I only bring this stuff up because you're going to see a certain something when you come here if you pay attention. The people that we've talked to and that we met here are making more here than they would make in their home countries, without a doubt. But there is a social order, a social status, and a lack of upward mobility that's holding people of darker skin back. It's something that we've noticed just going through the city. Another something that we noticed is the way that women are treated or looked at in this society.
No one is allowed to touch me. No one is allowed to strip me naked without my consent. And that's what happened in a major airport, one of the biggest airports in the world, with a major airline.
There was a message over the loudspeaker: can all women disembark the aeroplane with their passports?
The armed guards divided the women into groups and marched them towards a row of ambulances. They'd been targeted because a newborn baby was found abandoned in the airport, and Qatari police were determined to locate its mother.
I felt like I had been
I gotta give a shout out to our tour guide who found us when we were walking around the souk.
Doha is a clean, safe, slow-moving city filled with coffee shops, restaurants, museums, and hookah bars to disappear into and discover new cultures.
Our tour guide, he's from Sudan, and he just kind of took us around and had the homeboy hookup everywhere we went. I talked about the diversity of this city. We've met a lot of people from Kenya. Of course, our guide from Sudan. We've met someone from Turkey, from Ethiopia. It's definitely a very diverse and cultural melting pot here in Doha.
My name is Ibrahim. I'm from Kenya, capital city, Nairobi.
Nairobi?
Okay.
What's good to do in Nairobi?
Nairobi, very many things you can do. You can go to one mall called Two Rivers. Also, you can go to the coastal area, Mombasa. Very fine, good food. We have ugali, skuma wiki.
Okay.
Very good food. So long as you have someone who is cooking good, you'll enjoy it.
Out of all the people we met, the last thing we expected was to run into somebody who knew us. What?
Yo, what's happening, man?
So what brings you out here?
Oh, I'm just out here working on the project, so
wow.
I'll be out here for a little bit until Cabo is next.
Give me a perspective, man. 10 words or less, what do you think of this place?
This is the best place in the Middle East. It has the safety. Well, let me not go over 10.
Everywhere we go, we see us.
Yo, yo, yo. What up, what up? Hey, Lido and the Yarbros.
Some of our first impression, it was just kind of really beautiful riding into the city. We walked down to a famous part of the city called the Souk Waqif. This historic and traditional market is located right in the heart of Doha and is popular amongst locals and tourists alike.
Now we need to find our patches.
Hey, patches, people. Ding, 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 ding.
While there is an overabundance of migrant worker issues and social issues in Qatar, most tourists and expats enjoy their stay.
As a woman in Qatar, I feel very safe.
Any time of the day or night, you can walk around. Don't worry.
I love how can I just walk either with my husband or alone, and I know that no one will approach me.
Qatar is a beautiful city with some blemishes, with tons to see and experience. She's safe, clean, interesting, and evolving. We enjoyed our stay over as we prepare for our first time stepping onto the continent of Africa. See you when we get there.